we're very happy to know that you are with Foreigner coming to Chile. You know, it's been great news because you were going to be, sorry, you're going to be around on this visit, but you were not in the first place when we knew that Foreigner was coming. You were not among the members that were coming.
No, I remember that.
So, yes. So it was kind of the sudden news for us, and then they told us that you were here, and we said, "Wow, the special guest Lou Gramm," and that really adds to the occasion. You know, what can you tell us about that? How was it possible?
Well, the night that we were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I was talking to the members of the band, and they were mentioning that they were putting together a South American tour, and they said, "Do you want to come along? Do you want to be part of it?" And I says, "I would seriously consider that." And then our manager our Foreigner's manager came over and said, "Lou, I'm formally inviting you to take part in this South American tour. It would be a lot of fun for all of us to have you on board, and if your schedule's clear, we can put this together in no time at all." And I said, "Okay, I'm committing right now."
That's very, very great news, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think it's the way Foreigner is working right now? Because there's been many changes, and there are a couple of your partners that also passed away.
Yes.
But the story continues, you know, and there are younger members, and in particular Luis Maldonado, which is
oh yes,
yes, he's you know,
he's awesome.
songs, and he's much younger.
Yes.
And you can see him singing all of these tunes. What is your impression about this change in history?
I think Luis has a great voice, and I know he loves the song. I could tell by his feeling when he's singing them that he really grasps what the song is about, you know, and that kind of rejuvenates the band too. The band is all relatively new players, you know, from the last 15 or 20 years, and the band is a really good band, and I'm actually looking very much forward to doing the South American tour.
We talked to Jeff a few weeks back, to one of my colleagues in Radio Futuro. There was Luis and Jeff in the conversation, and they were talking about this induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year, and regarding all the activities around. And Jeff said, he's not been one of the former members, but he's been part of the story. And he said, you know, Foreigner is bigger than all of us. It's an institution. It's something bigger. When we see each other, when we see what part of the history we are apart from.
Right.
What do you feel about it when you are part of this story? Maybe one recognizable face for all the songs, for all the classic songs, and how do you feel about it?
I still feel the way I felt when I was a younger man, co-writing those songs with Mick Jones, and the excitement that built up within the original band when we recorded them and started playing them live. It's very much the same, because this band has a youthful energy to it, a little more, you know, and they are very aware of the shoes they're filling, and they have a genuine love of the music, and they perform it with the rock and roll abandon, but with the respect, knowing that there were the original members that came before them.
You were mentioning the songs, and I wanted to ask you about the most recognizable song from Foreigner in Chile is definitely "I Want to Know What Love Is." And I know it's been said that you contributed to the author of it. And what does the song mean to you in terms of composition first, but also in terms of performing because it's you, the voice, that gives life to this song. One thing is the composition, of course, but when we saw those videos in MTV times in the 80s, when there was no possibility to see foreign in Chile in those years here, it was your face, you know, it was your voice, your interpretation of the song, and still one of the best remembered songs of the band.
Thank you. I remember those times pretty vividly, and you know, we were worried that we were a little worried that releasing a song like that was going to damage our rock reputation.
Because it's a soul song more than a rock and roll song.
Yeah, I mean, we had another hit ballad before, "Waiting for a Girl Like You," but we all felt that this was something different and special, and it almost went beyond being a rock song. You know, it with the gospel choir in there, it kind of moved it through rock into, I don't know, gospel, into it just transcended musical modes, and we were wondering if it would enhance or damage our reputation as a rock band.
And what did it happen? Because it incorporated many people that probably didn't know the band or the past of the band, which was important in rock and roll, you know, arenas, and all of a sudden was this. And what was the conclusion you came up to as a band?
Oh, we as soon as we heard it on the radio and started getting comments from our family and friends, how they never heard a song like that from us, and how much they loved it, and you know, we saw it racing up the charts. We learned it well enough to play, to get ready to tour and perform it, you know, at a precise time of the set, and we went around the world just to promote the song, talking to radio stations and newspapers and rock magazines. We did a tour of the world just for press. And I remember we were in Switzerland, and we had just done a heavy day of promotion, and we had a meal, and we were sitting around sipping a glass of red wine, and the operator from the hotel called and said, "There's a call for you from Los Angeles," and we said, "Well, who is it?" And they said, "It's Mr. Ahmet Ertegun."
Wow.
Yeah. And so we grabbed the phone. We said, "Hello," you know. He says, "Guys, how are you? You've created a masterpiece, and I just want to tell you that I Want to Know What Love Is #1 around the world."
Oh,
and
incredible.
It was an incredible phone call, and I mean, you couldn't have scripted it any better, you know.
Yes, with a phone call from Ahmet Ertegun.
Oh, yes. And I wish someone had taped that.
You know, the songs tell a lot about the situations of a band. You know, I was a few weeks back when my colleague talked to Jeff and to Luis in this previous interview. We talked about the intention of the band, that about translating this "I Want to Know What Love Is" into Spanish, and they were aware. And Luis described a very a very serious job trying to emulate the you know, the essence of the song, not trying not to lose anything in the process.
And you know what?
What do you think about it? What do you think about the songs getting into Spanish? And what do you think about it?
I love the idea of it. I thought it was pretty much a extremely difficult task to make the phrases fit and if there's too many words or whatever. But at rehearsal last night, I heard him do it for the first time, and he knocked me out.
Is he going to sing in Chile, Luis?
Yes, and I'll sing it with him, but he's singing it, the first verse.
Oh my God, that's going to be awesome.
In Spanish.
In Spanish.
Yes.
Great. That is great. And
are you going to be there for the first show?
I'm going to be there, of course. Good. I'm not going to lose it for anything.
Great.
So you know that, and there are other things that there are calling our attention, because it seems that everything's happening for foreigner these days, and that's very, very good. Regarding the activities surrounding the remastering of the album 4, which is out in September, and Jeff told us a few weeks ago that they found this piece of a song. That there was a song with just one part that was composed, and they show it to you. I think it's Full If You Love Him.
Fool If You Love Him, yes. Fool If You Love Him, yes.
So you grabbed the song and you completed it, and I wanted to know what was to work on that. I
can say I when they sent me the rough mix of it, minus the parts that were missing, I can say I hadn't heard that song in over 40 years.
Wow.
And so I listened, and I put in the missing verse, and I put in some ad-libs, and sang it in the same tone of voice that I sang the parts that I had sung 40 years ago. So it sounded like one vocal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you don't recognize the difference? You used the previous voice, you didn't sing it all over again?
No. I put some harmonies, new harmonies in. I sang the verse that was missing, and I sang it in the same frame of mind and same tonality as I sang it when I was 40 years younger.
Oh my God.
And it sounds like one performance.
That's great.
Looking forward to listen to it. I think that's going to be released pretty soon.
Oh, that is great. That is great. What are your expectations, your personal expectations for this visit to Latin America? I think one of the things that Luis and Jeff talked to us a few weeks ago, where they said, you know, South Americans are crazy audiences, and they have a great time. I don't know if they told you that, but that is what happens when they have visited us previously, and they loved the relationship with the audience, and I wanted to know your expectations about it.
Well, I feel the same way. I know Foreigner toured South America. I think during Foreigner 4, I believe we toured South America. We didn't do it extensively, but we played about 5 or 6 countries, and we love the South American audiences. They're ready to have fun, and they're not afraid to sing along if they want to. You know, yes. I didn't have to goad them into singing the choruses of Hot Blooded.
No, that comes naturally. You know?
They came in at the right time, you know, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my goodness, you know. So it's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait.